Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Beiteinu. Do you know how we say a good morning in Hebrew?
Shabbat shalom.
No, that's for Shabbat. It's just
Oh,
for
yes.
Shabbat.
Okay. Boker tov.
Boker tov.
Very
Yes,
good.
Boker tov. Boker tov and Shabbat shalom. So today it's a family service with all our students from Beiteinu, and I'd like to greet our friends who are watching online, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And we're going to start with the morning prayers. You know, we have two songs that we're going to sing together, and I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself so we can sing together.
Press that again. No, send it.
Okay. So it should be on your screen. It's Matovu, and then we do Modéani Lefanecha. Oh gosh, I don't remember the tune now. Who can help me with Matovu? Okay. Matovu, O Alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Israel. Matovu, O Alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Israel. Last time. Matovu, O Alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Israel. So that's usually something we sing when we enter the synagogue, and we say, how beautiful are your tents? We don't live in tents anymore, but you know, it refers to the time our ancestors were in the desert. How beautiful are your tents, O Israel, your places of dwellings. So that's what we say when we enter a synagogue. Of course, our synagogue is virtual, is on Zoom, but it's still great to be able to connect and to be together on Zoom. So the other morning songs, if you want to wake us up, is Modéani Lefanecha, which means I thank you, God, for giving me back my soul, my life. I woke up this morning, I was a bit grumpy, but it's fine. It's a new day, and I'm going to start a new day in joy. Modéani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Modéani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Modéani lefanecha Modéani lefanecha. Over to you, Caroline.
So Florence is going to read the first blessing then.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, for eyes to see. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for clothes to wear. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for my family, my friends, and my community. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for giving me strength and happiness each morning. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for the privilege of waking up to a new day.
My God, I thank you for my life, body, and soul. Help me realize that I am something new, someone who never existed before, someone original and unique in the world. For if there had been someone like me, there would have been no need for me to exist. Baruch atah Adonai, Rafeho Baser, Yumafli Lahasot. Blessed are you, eternal Lord God, who formed the human body to live in this world.
Thank you. So the next bit is also a song for all of us, just to cheer us up. And I think I told you this last time we used it. It was composed by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You know the Lubavitcher? It's a brand of Judaism. You know, the men in black. You know, you see them. They have blacks, beard, etc. And they sing a lot. For them, singing is very important part of their religious life. And they so that's the sentence means Ahareini mikabel alai. I accept upon myself et mitzvat haboreh, the commandment of the Creator, and that comes from the Torah. Ve'ahavta lerecha kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And remember, it's a kind of a responsive singing, huh? And I sing the first, you follow, etc., etc. So unmute yourself, and let's try to do to sing a very nice song. And it's very easy. Remember. הריני מקבל עליי, הריני מקבל עליי, again, הריני מקבל עליי, הריני מקבל עליי, את מצוות הבורא, את הבורא, again, את מצוות הבורא, את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, again, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And all together, twice each bit, okay? הריני מקבל עליי, הריני מקבל עליי, את מצוות הבורא, את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Well done, well done. So now it's over to Nate for the Shema and its blessing.
Okay, come on. Baruch Baruchu Adonai al Adonai Haolam Barach. Baruch Adonai Haolam Barach Olam Vayed.
So there's 7 fathers.
Praises due. Praise the one to who our praises due forever.
Sorry, Jonah.
Blessed are you, infinite power that we are, forming light and creating darkness, making harmony and creating chaos. You fill and embrace all things, guiding your universe as it evolves. It's you
In
now,
your
Eva.
compassion, you let the sun shine upon the earth and on all creatures that live here. In your goodness you renew, day after day, the work of creation. All of your works are fashioned by your wisdom. The earth is full of your riches.
Baruch atah Adonai et Yotzeh Hamorot.
Oliver.
Okay, there you go.
Baruch atah Adonai habocher bamo Israel ahava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the eternal one is our God, the eternal God is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Praise be God's glorious majesty forever.
Aziza, you're muted at the moment.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך.
Feruza, you're still muted.
I'll read it for Firuza. Veshinantam levanecha, vadibarta bam beshiftecha bevitecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, ushafka uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vahayu letotafot beinenecha, uvktavtam al mizuzot betecha uvisha'arecha.
Rabbi, you're muted.
Oh, it says all. So I thought we'll do it all together, huh? Shall we sing it or shall we read it? Let's sing it, okay?
Okay.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. So the next blessing is Baruch Atah Adonai Ga'al Israel, which is in a way a blessing of gratitude. You know, it's in Hebrew we said Hakarat Hatov, so it means to be grateful for what we have. So I just want to take a few moments and to see around the screen, if you could tell us in your own words, what are you grateful for in this particular moment where Saturday, the 6th of March, it's 11:31. So what are you grateful for?
What are you grateful for? Yvette, you have anything? Jacob, are you grateful for anything?
What are you grateful for? Well, I'm grateful for my...
Okay, I didn't... Okay.
I think Sandra had her hand up.
I did. Because,
sorry, I didn't see you.
yeah, I had my hand up because I had a very amazing week because my aunt celebrated her 100th birthday.
Wow.
And also, as you know, I've got a new grandson. So when we have our family Seder in 3 weeks' time, we're going to have age 0 and age 100.
Wow. That's really nice. That's life, huh? That's really nice. Yes, I can see there's a hand up.
Go. Friends and family.
Friends and family. Another hands up. Yeah, just unmute yourself and speak. Yes.
I'm grateful for the family that we have in our huge community to help us get through these difficult times.
That's really nice. Thank you. Thank you. That's so true. Huh? So I have a question for you guys. Oh, yeah, sorry. Go on, Alexandra. Yes.
Florence and Alexandra, you had your hand up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to school, like being able to go back to school now.
Okay. So that was my question for you all. You've been at home for the past over 2 months. Are you nervous about going back to school? Are you happy? Are you relieved? You know,
Um,
oh gosh,
we're
we can
quite, like,
leave the house. How are you feeling? Yes.
we're happy to like see our friends and everything. And although it won't be exactly the same because there's a lot more restrictions in the school, yeah, it'll
Okay.
be nice.
Good. Okay. Who is very happy to go back to school? Hands up, please.
I think the parents definitely have got their hands up.
Not the parents. And who is a bit nervous? Who is nervous to going back to school? Yes, yeah. It's normal, you know, to be a bit anxious because you've been at home for over 2 months and you know how it's going to happen. And you'll see it's like the first time you went to school. The moment you cross the threshold of school, it's really like bicycle. You never forget it. So I can see online we have also people. Yeah. So we have teachers with us as well. I don't know. So Sarah is a teacher. She's happy but nervous as well. Do we have teachers as well? Lucy, you're a teacher as well. Happy, nervous, both?
You're muted, Lucy.
I'm excited and nervous. I'm excited to see them.
Yeah. I think it's it's very understandable now. It's we need to slowly to get back to.
I'll miss the children I had in my bubble though.
Yeah.
I'm excited that I will be able to go into people's homes and actually do some work within the home with the families that I work with.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So if it's possible now, okay.
Because
good.
before it was very doorstep, or I was sitting in the garden with them, which isn't really conducive because people can hear neighbors.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I have very nice expressions of gratitude online on Facebook. So Sam is saying for grateful for food and subsistence. Yeah, food. Gosh, that was really sometimes the best thing. Sometimes food became comfort food. Huh? I need to do something about it, to be honest with you. Yeah, and friends and family. So thank you. Let's sing together. I've been waiting in the velvet sea. Whoa, whoa, which is on the top of the page on your service sheets. Okay. Hello, Rabbi Julia is here. Julia Greece from Odessa. It's very good to have you with us. So Julia and I, we spent 5 years studying together to become rabbis. And of course, when you spend so many years with someone, you know, they become very much part of your family. So I'm very, very honored and happy to see you with us, Julia, today. Okay. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the Micha mocha Baelim Adonai Micha mocha Nedar bakodesh Nora tehilot Osefele Nora tehilot Osefele. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, oh, oh. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, oh, oh. I've been waiting in the sea. Alexandria?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Israel.
So the next prayer we have in our liturgy, we will do this a bit different today. It's called Viamida, which means it's a prayer we do standing usually, or it's called also the Tefillah, the prayer. And just to understand how Jewish prayer works for us, you have a theme for each blessing, and it finishes with what's called in Hebrew Chatima. Chatima means conclusion, but it's also signature. You know, when you sign something today, you chotem. It's the idea of signing something. So each blessing has a special theme. So we are going to do to try to rewrite together today these blessings for us? How do they work for us? And you have a title, you have questions, and then you have readers for each blessing, which will read the last bit, Baruch Atah Adonai, and so on. Okay, first we do Adonai Sfatai Tiftach together. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth shall declare your praise. So the first blessing is called Avot ve'imahot. Avot means the fathers, the imahot and the mothers. So it's a blessing in which we remember the generations past. So question for you, why do we remember the generations past? Any idea?
Because we can learn from them.
We can learn from them, yes, very good.
Because it's part of your identity and who you are, to know who your ancestors were and how your family got to be in the country they're in, or in the situation they're in, or in the work that they're in. It's part of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's Lilia who said earlier something about gratitude for your parents who give you a place where you can feel safe. So that you are here today because before you've had generations and generations and generations of people who came before us, and they transmitted, they had children, of course, who had children and children, but they also transmitted something which the world we have today is the result of generations of people working together and thinking and making mistakes and making great things. And this is why we need to remember that. We need to remember that. Sandra.
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, O God, shield of Abraham and Sarah.
Thank you. And we start, of course, with Abraham and Sarah, who are in the Bible the ancestors of all peoples of faith. Abraham and Sarah are recognized, let's say, in Judaism, of course, but also in Christianity and Islam. They are the fathers and mother of all people of faith. So the second blessing, and you're right, Jill, the contribution generations past made to form KLS. KLS is today the result of that, all these people who came before us. So the second blessing is God, the source of life. So I didn't ask any question because it is maybe a bit more complicated to answer that, to even ask a question when we say God is the source of life. So how do you understand that, this idea that life comes from God? When we say Baruch Atah Adonai, we actually say God is the source of all blessings. We don't need to bless God. God doesn't need to be blessed. It's more, we recognize that God is the source of all blessing. So in your own words, how would you understand this idea that God is the source of life? Yeah, it's a bit more complicated, I understand. It's, we go into, it's very deep theology here. But if you think about the reason we hear, the question is, what created the world, or who created the world? So some people believe, it's just a result of chemical interaction, the Big Bang, which is, it's real. This really happened like that because science documents it very well. And we know that, the universe has 15 billion years old, is 15 billion years, and it goes, the universe is expanding, etc. All these things are documented, well documented by science. But what does it mean when you put God into that? It's a bit difficult.
Acceptance that there are things that we do not understand or know, and forces us to go along a road of continual learning.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, good. Yeah, maybe, some people ask the questions, who put all this process into motion? There are some, I think it's in one of the Eastern Coast universities, I don't remember where now, they talked about the intelligent design, the way that it started somewhere because someone wanted to start it. So I'm going to stop here because it's a complicated issue. And even the adults, you can spend your entire life thinking of all these things and not getting to to a definite answer. But, for me, saying that God is the source of life is because it gives meaning to our lives. I would say we're here because there is a God. Whether God exists or not doesn't really matter, but we have this idea of God that brings people together. So that's, I can, and yeah, very good, Sarah. We're all made in the image of God, which means that we're all at the same time unique and sacred. And I think that's the message. There is the message that when you say we're all in God's image, it means that we're all worthy of being respected and being loved. We're all all lives actually are worthy of being protected. I think that's a really important thing to say. Isabel?
Baruch atah Adonai Machayeh Hametim. Blessed are you, O God, source of all life.
Okay, so the next two blessings, the third and the fourth, talk about Shabbat. So my question is very simple. How can we make a Shabbat a special day?
By services like this, which brings everyone together, whether we're together in the synagogue or virtually, it brings us together, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, go on.
I was going to say, I think it's really nice time that I've been able to be with like Josh, for example, because it's leading up to we've had this time together. And it's a time just to relax and just to not be rushing around. Not that we're rushing around, but generally on Shabbat, you don't rush around in the same way.
Yeah, it gives a special dimension of being together. I saw someone who raised their hand, but I'm not sure who was.
It was Lilia.
Lilia, yes.
We have Shabbat so we can spend time together and see and thank God for everything He's done for us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, being together for gratitude and spending time together. I think that's very important that we still keep one day like this, because otherwise all days would be the same. And, for people during lockdown, Shabbat was a kind of a beacon, We were not completely, hectic, going, running everywhere, but in the course of days, which all look the same, the fact that we had Shabbat gave a sense of rhythm. And I think that's very important to keep us, to keep the fact that on Shabbat we can be together. So the next two blessings are read by Daniel and Noah.
No, wait.
Read it then.
Right. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. Blessed are you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, O God, for the holiness of this Sabbath.
Thank you. So the fifth blessing, which is the blessing we ask God to listen to our prayers, Retzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. So what kind of prayer you would like to say today? Because we have this liturgy which is fixed with words and there's a structure, etc. But within this liturgy, what would you like to say today? What would be your prayer? What would you like to ask? What would be important for you? Yes, Sandra?
Well, I think we all want an end to the virus and no more people dying and being ill and being able to get back to normal and see each other.
Absolutely. Amen to that. I agree with you. Absolutely. That's really the collective prayer we have today. And we we really want this to end, because it's been very difficult on so many levels, and so many people have lost their lives to the virus, and so many people have also difficult lives because of the virus, because it's not over for some people. Okay, so Karina.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, she'ercha levadcha ve'ira na'avod.
Thank you. Can you say the English, please?
Yes. Blessed are you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence.
Amen. So the 6 blessings, we actually already talked about that, what are we grateful for? So I don't want to revisit that, because you said very, very interesting things, and let's keep them as they are. So Josh, can you read the 6 blessings?
Baruch atah Adonai hatov shemha ucha ne'elot. Blessed are you, O God, source of goodness, to whom are thanks.
Thank you. And the last blessing, so just to give you an understanding, the blessing number 1, 2, and 3 are always the same, whether it's Amidah on Shabbat, weekday, festival, etc. And the last 3 blessings, here it's 5, 6, 7, and on weekdays it's 11, 12, and 13 are always the same. And sorry, if you look at the end of that, you have a source of peace. All these prayers lead to a place where we want to be in peace. So tell me, what gives you peace in life? What gives you contentment? What makes you peace, happy? It's a bit the same, when you feel, oh, cool, I can relax now. What gives you peace? I can start if you want. What gives me peace if when we are together like this, and when it ends, I have a feeling that something nice happened between us, that our community once again came together, enjoy being together, and people leave the call of a synagogue with smile on their face. That gives me peace, because it means that we've done something together, which has meaning. Yes, Sam says careless Saturday morning service. Classic FM, Jill, absolutely music. Music is great.
Mine is that one thing that makes me happy is that and peace is sometimes I get to listen to classical FM, and also I get to make pancakes with my dad.
So I heard pancakes with your dad, but I didn't hear the first bit.
She gave a plug to Classic FM as well.
Okay, wow, okay, good, yes, yeah. Yeah, music, good food, with good company, with your dad, all these things, brings us peace. And I think it's very important to nurture that, because what we want in life, not to avoid any problems, because you can't avoid problems, but what you need to have is a peace of mind in your heart. So Dominique?
Baruch atah Adonai, osei shalom. Blessed are you, O God, source of peace.
Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol bnei Adam. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol bnei Adam. Right. So I can see that a lot of you are enjoying this moment, which makes me really happy and brings me peace. The next part of the service is the Torah service. So remember, we had some warming up songs and prayers. Then we had the Shema and the blessings. Then we had the Amidah of the Tefillah, and not the main, but on Shabbat, the high point, the highlight of the service is the Torah service. And today, because next week, Tess is going to have a bat mitzvah, and we're very much looking forward to being the sanctuary with you, Tess, for those who can make it. So Tess will read the Torah blessings, and I just wanted to point the fact that the way it's done, Tess will say one line first. She will call us. It's a way to call us, to call our attention, be here now, and then we will respond, Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed, and then Tess will repeat this sentence and finish it. Okay? Over to you, Tess.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed. And you repeat.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. So today, instead of having the scroll itself, there is the translation of the scroll of the text. So it's from the book of Exodus in Parashat Ki Tissa.
I think, Tess, are you starting off the reading?
Yeah, okay. When the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mount, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, "Arise, make us gods which shall go before us. And as for this Moses, the man who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what became of him." Aaron said to them, "Take off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them to me."
And all the people took off the golden earrings, which were the ears, and brought them to Aaron. He received them from the hands and fashioned with a graving tool, molten calf. They said, "Those are your gods, internal
Israel,
which brought you up out of the land of Egypt."
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. He made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow is a feast for the Eternal." The people rose up early on the next day and offered burnt offerings. They sat down to eat, drink, and play.
God said to Moses, "Go down, your people, whom you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, have made fools of themselves. They have turned aside very quickly from the way which I commanded them. They made a molten calf for themselves, worshipped it, and said, 'These are your gods, O Israel, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt.' God said again to Moses, 'I have seen this people, and there are surely a stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone, that my anger may burn hot against them, and that I may consume them once it is done. I will make of you a great nation.'"
him speak. Moses pleaded with God and said, God, why does your anger burn hot against your people whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand?
Should the Egyptians say, God brought them out of our land for an evil intent to slay them and consume them? Turn from your fierce anger and repent of this evil against your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants whom you swore to help.
And the Eternal changed his mind, but Moses was so angry when he went down that he threw the table from his hand and broke beneath the mount.
Thank you. Brilliant reading. Tess?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu.
Baruch, together. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Joshua.
Muted. Recompense and punishment. Punishment and recompense. Two totally different opposites. So what would you say if I told you one can cause the other?
Thank you. I think that's a very nice way to enter the conversation I want to have with you now. So there's something that goes wrong in this story. Who can tell me what goes wrong in the story of, yes, Lilia?
The thing that goes wrong is that God got angry with his own people and Moses destroyed the 10 Commandments.
Okay, why was God angry? Why do you think was God angry?
His people decided to pray to idols.
Absolutely. And okay, and can anyone tell me why they did that? You know, they took all the earrings, and by the way, you know that there's a rabbinic tradition about the first of each month, which we call Rosh Chodesh, you know, the start of the month, and that says that that's a festival for women, because if you look at the text, only the men gave their earrings and the women didn't give their earrings to do this golden calf. So the tradition says, in order to thank the women for being faithful to Moses, they have once a month, they have a festival just for them, which is Rosh Chodesh. So that's maybe something you could think about doing at KLS again, because in many places there's Rosh Chodesh groups, a group of Jewish women, we will come together to discuss whatever they want to discuss. So that might be something we can think about. But I quite like the idea that it's the men, it's the men who actually do something wrong in this story. But there's a reason. Do you know why they did that? Well, what happened? So remember, Moses is up at the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, and they're waiting. How do you think they feel?
Mark Bayer's got his hand up. Or maybe not. There's certainly a hand up, but muted.
Me?
Yes, please go.
Do you mean me?
Yeah.
I think because they got impatient because Moses was away for really long.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, they got impatient. 40 days and 40 nights. Remember, they are in the desert. They are away from anything they knew before. Moses goes away, he goes up and he says, yeah, just believe me, listen to me, I'm going to go there and you just have to wait. And at some point they become impatient. And we can understand in a way, it's like us, during lockdown, we become impatient. And if you think about those people who broke the rules, all of these people who had big parties during lockdown, they're a bit like the Israelites, not being able to wait anymore. It's too much. Okay, so of course God is being God in the Bible is very angry, and Moses pleads with God, no, don't be so nasty to your people. And He said, if you do that, the Egyptians will say, look what God did. He brought the Israelites out of Egypt just to punish them in the desert. So they managed to find a way. So what the story tells later is that some of them are killed, but that's the biblical way of talking about punishment. So so there's something went wrong in this story, obviously, and we can understand in a way. We can understand 40 days and nights. It's quite a long time to wait. And I just wanted to think aloud with you about anger, because God is angry, Moses is angry. What do you think? What's better? Is it better to let your anger out, or is it better to forgive, or are both necessary? Maybe you have to listen to your anger and then to be able to forgive. So how do you put anger and forgiveness together? How do you understand anger and forgiveness? What makes you angry? Tell me. Oli, I can see you have a big sword in your hand, which is an expression of your anger. So tell us what makes.
He's playing at expressing his anger.
Okay, so what makes you angry, Oli?
What makes you angry?
Okay, we want to say something. I think Ty said something, no?
Okay, so Ty said that it is his brother that makes him angry, but because we're family, he has to forgive him.
Good. I think that's very good.
The same. Molly thinks it's the same what makes him angry.
Okay, so in Oli's case, it's you, Monse, who makes him angry. Yeah. So it's interesting because people who make you angry are people who are close to you. That's very interesting. Sometimes your parents, your children, your partner makes you angry, and because we're close to each other and we bump into each other. But in a way, anger is not bad in itself. It's what you do with anger which is bad, which can be bad. Anger is like when you have, you're hurting yourself. Let's say you put your hand on the flame, you put your hand on I don't know, in your oven, okay, and it's burning, it's hot, and with this pain that you have to take your hand out. Anger is the same. When you're angry at something, it tells you, okay, there's something that doesn't work. There's something wrong here. And once you understand that anger is a sign, then you can think about your anger. Why am I angry? I'm angry because this or that. And the best way is not always to blame the others as well. I'm not angry because of the other, because that's interesting. What makes me angry? So, anger is two ways. There's something that it's like pressing the wrong button in someone. And once you've understood that, and then you can start forgiving, because forgiveness is about understanding what's happening. So if you think about this story of course they disobeyed God. Of course they did, idolatry in the Bible is the worst thing you can do, because idolatry, is worshipping statues. In the Bible, it's like turning your back to God. And that's the worst thing you can do. But why did they do that? And someone said they were impatient, and maybe they were scared, and then they tried to find a way to ease the impatience. So it's always important to know why we feel what we feel. As Meira said, anger signals something needs to change. That's exactly that. And then you can be angry at what's happening in the world. You can be angry at injustice. You can be angry at all these things, and that's good because it means that you are reacting to something happening around you. So when you feel angry, when you feel anger in you, don't be overwhelmed by it, because when you're overwhelmed, you can do really terrible things. Try to understand what makes you angry and what can be done in order to overcome it. Yeah, Meira, you're right. Something inside ourselves has to change as well, sometimes. So this is also, we can be angry at ourselves because we're not able to do something that we should be doing or we think we should be doing. Okay, so let's go now to the next bit, which is a poem that Caroline found. I found it really, really nice, Caroline. It's nice poetry. Thank you.
Lovely. So all of the Beiteinu children, you need to unmute because I need you to read responsively. So just need you all to unmute before I start. Brilliant. Lovely. Okay. So this poem is called You Are Not Alone. When tears of sadness streaks your face,
You are not alone.
when you feel lost and out of place,
You are not
alone. When it's easy to carry on and everything you do is wrong,
You are not alone.
You're not alone. That's all you're saying.
when you open your presents on the holiday, when nothing can seem to spoil your day,
You are not alone.
when it seems like you made it through, but there's no one to share this feeling with you.
You're not alone.
You'll never be alone when I'm around. I'll cheer you up when you are down. And whether you are happy or feeling blue, I will always be there for you. So when you feel alone and in dark, just keep your heart.
And you'll never be
alone.
And I think that's just perhaps the way God was saying to all the people, you know, you won't be alone. I might be waiting, but you won't be alone.
Thank you, Caroline, for this wonderful poem. Who is Gora Sharma? Did you?
I don't know. I just found it on a website, and I just thought it was a really good.
It's
a good poem, and supported the Torah reading really nicely.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Okay, we're heading now towards the end of our service, and then so that's the final prayer, and it's read by the Bnei Mitzvah class and teachers.
And then all that has divided us will merge.
And then compassion will be wedded to power.
And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind.
When both men and women will be gentle.
And then both men will be gentle.
And both women and men will be strong.
And then no person will be subject to another's will.
And then all will be free and rich and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many.
And then all will share equally in earth's abundance.
And all will care for the sick and the weak and the old.
And then all will nourish the young.
And then all will cherish life's creatures.
And all will live in harmony with each other and the earth.
Then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
Thank you. So we are reaching now the moment of Kaddish, you know, during a service. At the end of a service, what we said about generations, the first blessing of the Amidah, we remember the generations past, and we also remember people in our family who are no longer with us. And of course, there's a lot of sadness because we miss them, but there's also a lot of gratitude because they gave us so much, and the persons we are today, it's because they were there. They had so much importance in our lives. So on this Shabbat, we remember Walter Merkel, the father of David Merkel. Remember John and Sadie Hyman, the parents of Norman Hyman. We remember Tim Jordan, the husband of Jackie Jordan. We remember Sally Feldman, mother of Karen Burgess and mother-in-law of Ken Burgess. And we remember Melvin Green, the husband of Helen Green. And yesterday I've asked during the service, why do we say I wish you a long life? And I've got a very nice email by Vince who reminded me that it's probably, he found something in a medieval text that says that when the children are able to say the Kaddish properly, it means that they had a very good Jewish education and therefore they're able to continue the transmission of our values and of Judaism, and that means that the life continues in our children as well. And I really liked it. So let's say the Kaddish. Is there anyone wanted to name someone else today? No? Okay, so it's on page 524. And the language is a bit different from what you're used to hear, because it's not in Hebrew, it's in another Jewish language. Do you know which language we're talking about? It's in Aramaic. So Aramaic was the language of people in the Persian Empire. Remember, we talked, we had Purim a few weeks back, last week actually. And in Persia, people would speak Aramaic, which was a kind of language well spread all over the empire. And Jews, of course, spoke also Aramaic at that time. And it's a language which is very close to Hebrew. It's very close to Hebrew, but it's like a bit like, I would say, English and German, probably English and German, or French and Italian. Languages are very close. So it's in Aramaic, and we say it together. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברר וישתבר ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ביחתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם ואמרו אמן. So I know that Norman Hyman is here with us today on Facebook. So Norman, I wish you a long life. And for all the mourners who are also on the list today, if you're online, wherever you are, I wish you all a long life. So let's do now the final song, Ma Yafe Ayom, Shabbat Shalom. It's a very easy one. This is why I like it, because we don't need to learn. Oh la la. We don't need to learn too many words. Ma Yafe Hayom, how beautiful is this day, Shabbat Shalom, which in English translates Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Again. Ma Yafe Hayom. Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. And you know what parents do on Shabbat? On Shabbat, they bless their children. And there's an old tradition of blessings for children by the parents. And it's the priestly blessing, which we know very well. So, you can put your head on your kid's head, your hand, or you can just look at them, and we say the blessing, Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha veyasem lecha shalom. May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. And let us say, Amen. Right. So I don't know, is it this link for the Kiddush or it's another one? I don't know. Stay, please stay on. We will do the Kiddush together. Usually you disappear, but may I ask you to stay for the Kiddush, which will start in what we say 12:30. So now we can. Okay, let's do the Kiddush then. Yes, let's wait for a few minutes and to welcome our members who have joined, and we do the Kiddush together. So the Kiddush is a blessing over the wine and the bread. We don't transform the bread and the wine. It's just recognizing our connection with the soil, with the earth, and that our sustenance comes from the planet. You know, we have food and we have drinks because we have a planet which is bountiful, and it all comes from God, and we thank God for that. So we need, of course,